Yo, what's up, guys? Happy Sunday. Sorry I still sound a little sick. I probably am. Um, but I wanted to get on today and talk about a lot of the negative YouTube marketing going around. So you're probably like, what's negative YouTube marketing? Well, negative YouTube marketing is basically where a concept is pushed through to you negatively in the sense that, let's say the example of the video would be best 5 Pokemon cards to hold in 2025. The negative approach to that would be if you don't have these 5 cards in your collection, you're doing it wrong. And it's a little bit more grabby. It's kind of where marketing is going. And it retains attention a lot better than positive marketing. Anyways, my point of that was I wanted to talk about a lot of people saying the Pokemon community's falling, Magic the Gathering stealing a lot of people, stuff like that. Dude, Pokemon's doing fine. Pokemon's doing better than ever. And just make sure you're doing your own research when you're, putting money into this stuff. Even with me, don't take everything I put out there as factual. Go and do your own research. But anyways, let's get into why I'm saying this stuff today. And so I wanted to pull up some stuff about Google Trends and search history. You look at Pokemon and overall it's, this graph may seem pretty stagnant. You're looking at this, you're probably, what is that spike? That's Pokemon Go. And then, we have the Pokemon boom, the 20s, 19, the Logan Paul eras. But essentially, that graph may seem, kind of bland, but Pokemon is steady. Okay. Pokemon has been there. It's always forever present. Now, cards have been excessively growing. So if we look at September 15, we're at about 25 interest level. And it's basically tripled. And if you're not, it quadrupled for the peak, So are we in a negative slump right now? Yes, maybe, But this peak is still the high of, February 2021 and the 2020s, right? Because this is when the vintage boom was going on. So if we're still at that high, are we at a low? Is it crashing? I don't think so. No. And if you follow this chart, Pokemon is steadily growing. And that's something I wanted to talk about. I think Pokemon is becoming more investable. And I think it's becoming more accepted as an investable thing. When we look at terms for investments, right? Pokemon is towering over Bitcoin. Okay. This is Bitcoin in the red, which is surprising because a lot of Bitcoin spikes also correlate with Pokemon. I did a general term like stocks and S&P, and then your purple is Magic the Gathering. So I thought this was an interesting chart. Just keep that in mind, moving forward through this. But yeah, Pokemon is towering over a lot of these other terms that are getting looked up, and I think it's surprising, especially because Bitcoin is so confusing to a lot of people of how it works. I think it's a very easily searchable term because, a lot of people don't understand it when they're looking it up or how to go about getting it and, stuff like that. Anyways, something really interesting is grading. Pokemon card grading has shot up in search history, right? So people are looking this up. People are looking into, is this investable? This is what I see when I look at this chart. Right? Obviously, we already know it is. But I think a lot of other people are coming to the conclusion that it is. And that means it's a good hold for us. If you look at investing, right before, what is this, 2022? Okay. Nobody was searching up Pokemon investing YouTube. Okay. And all of a sudden, it just takes off. A lot of this stuff has taken off recently. And is becoming more of an accepted investment. And I think as more and more people come into the hobby, you're going to gain more liquidity. you're going to gain stronger holdings. Yeah, I really do think this. Card shows is also shot up in value. I mean, shot up in trend history, interest over time. And, we're looking at 2020s. This is another hype, right? Like this is where are we at? Let's see. Right about here is when all the hype started, right? And now card shows, boom. I mean, it is steadily increased. So I think card shows are becoming more and more stable. Community's growing. People are trading. People are selling. People are buying. So these are important things to keep track of. Sealed shooting up. People are looking into investing in this. When you look at sealed product, that is the most, you could call it collector, right? Like a lot of people do keep sealed for collections, but also when you're talking about investability, sealed is the blue ticket, like the blue chip of moving forward with investments. And you see it right here, it's shooting up in search. Keep that in mind. Also, TCGPlayer. The reason I want to include TCGPlayer is because when people search in TCGPlayer, they're either thinking, what is my card worth? What can I sell it for? What's it going for? How is market? So it's an interest mindset search, and people are caring about the investment. And again, all you're seeing is growth over the past 5 years. This one's actually over the past 11 years. So you can see that it's shooting up. Everything's growing. So when people are telling you the market's crashing, people are leaving the hobby, do your own research. It's right here. Pokemon's not going anywhere. People coming into the hobby, they're getting involved. They are putting money in, and it's not going anywhere. Anyways, y'all have a good one. Later. I'll make some negative title for this just to make a point. Y'all have a good one. Peace out. Peace.